Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's Zoom. I'm super excited that you could all join us. I know we don't have a lot of people on, but that's okay. This will work for tonight. And I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Diane Weeb, and I'm Sandra's upline. And also with me on the Zoom tonight is Lynn, who will also be sharing. She is my upline, and Marge, which is Lynn's upline. So yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys about just how Plexus is. We focus on one Plexus and how uh, we just like to work together, no matter which team we're on, whatever. We all like to connect. We like to encourage each other and support each other in our journeys, no matter where we are, because we all start somewhere else and start in a different um, health journey. Some people are more sick than others, and so we just need to keep that in mind and just help each other out. And so that's what I love about Plexus, that we all work together. And yeah, I want to introduce Lynn. She is my sister-in-law, and I am super excited to work with her. So Lynn can share.
Sorry. I guess it was muted there for a while. Hey, so I'm looking forward to sharing this with you. Some of you probably have heard my story before, but some of you may not have been. I am a homeschooling mom of 5. We have 2 boys and 3 girls. So my story pretty much started 4 or 5 years ago now. We moved away from our small hometown and moved out to Edmonton, and that's where it all began. I think I was just, actually, even before we moved, I had a lot of heart palpitations going on. I was very fitness-minded. I exercised all the time. Running, I would do aerobics, usually 6 days a week. But when we moved to Edmonton, and then things just got worse and worse. I had extreme exhaustion. I had just fatigue, heart palpitations. Migraines got worse and worse. I'm not quite sure if we have to be compliant to share this or not. We can't even have to be compliant. Okay. I had a lot of anxiety. I wouldn't go to, like, we had 4 kids at the time, and then I wouldn't go uptown like for weeks because I had such bad anxiety. Driving or being in the grocery store, I just didn't want to be in there. And then after they did a lot of tests, they put me on heart monitors, they did an ECG, they did a heart ultrasound on me, and they didn't really find anything besides they were telling me, oh, you're okay, you're just stressed out, mama, just, go home. And, they offered me some meds, and knowing what I know, I refused to go on any meds, any prescriptions or antidepressants, yeah. So, and then I got pregnant with our 5th child, and things just got worse and worse. Migraines increased, fatigue got fatigue. I could hardly take 5 steps without, I couldn't catch my breath. I would lay on the floor and I'm like, okay, Bill, like, that's my husband, I am too tired to even breathe. And I had a lot of nausea. And so I did go to the doctor and did some more blood work. I guess it was 6 or 7 weeks pregnant at the time. And then they tried to contact me and tell me, you have hypothyroid, you need to get on meds. And so they put me on Synthroid as much as they didn't want to, but they told me if you don't, your baby might have like some serious brain damage. So they put me on Synthroid. If anybody knows what they do, a lot of side effects. So I was on them for maybe about a month, I would be washing dishes and my heart would just start racing, and I had numbness over my whole body. I had very low blood pressure. I could hardly take a bath without not wanting to faint. And then I went to a different doctor, and he prescribed a different thyroid med and more of a natural med. And so I took that. Things lessened a little bit, but I was still very tired. I was still losing a lot of hair. I was still having a lot of headaches. And then my main one was actually nausea and like major indigestion. And then after I had my baby, I thought, okay, I would start, doing whatever I could. Nothing helped. And so I went to see a gastrologist, I think is what they're called. And he recommended, let's take out your gallbladder. And at that point in my life, I was already very desperate I just want relief, and I want it now. Because having 5 kids, we homeschooled. I was on the couch all the time. We homeschooled. Like, I was on the couch. The kids are beside me on the floor. It was very hard. And so they took out my gallbladder, and I had some serious side effects from them, just from the anesthesia, whatever it's called. And nothing. I had nothing good come out of it. I would never recommend doing that ever. So I'm trying to backtrack after that. They removed my gallbladder. Nothing. I was trying still to eat healthy, still very tired. And then when we moved out to Grand Prairie, I got introduced to Plexus. And I'm like, at this point, my husband was skeptical because he told me you'd spend thousands of dollars. And I did, honestly. I spent thousands of dollars at the health food store, at different natural doctors, because the medical doctors couldn't help me. They told me just go home and research IBS. And so here comes the pink drink. I was expecting results within 1 week, and see it. I didn't see it. Which were so bad. I saw results, like a little bit of results between 8 and 10 months. To me, that was like, the highlight. Getting up and washing the floors is like, life is actually fun. But I did have some times where I kind of backtracked and then, got back up. And so now, I guess it's now, a year ago, maybe a little more, that I asked my son, like, what do you, like, he was, I guess, 12 at the time, like, and he's the oldest, so he takes initiative, he takes control. And I just asked him, so what do you see different about Mom? And he's like, Mom, everything about you is different. And honestly, guys, I almost cried. Or I think I totally did. And I still get emotional sometimes, because sometimes I feel like, wow, like my prayers are answered, and just to be back and feeling well again. Health is wealth. If I didn't have my health, I had nothing. And so definitely these products work. I would highly recommend. I never want to go off because I feel so good on them. And so from that, I have more energy, more sustained energy. My indigestion has improved a lot. No more fatigue. I never nap in the afternoons. I have 5 kids. We homeschool. I'm up early in the morning till at least 11 or 12 at night. I go. And energy, that's what you need, especially with family. At least I do. My hormones are balanced. I don't crave sugar at all. It doesn't tempt me. My monthlies are awesome, if you want to call it that. No cramping. And yeah, so that's my story. I'm going to say it in a nutshell, because I didn't even mention everything yet, and there's more to the story, but that's kind of in a nutshell. So what else was I going to say? Maybe, as some of you probably know, we were in Scottsdale a couple weeks ago, so we got to meet the Tarl and Alec. Wow, I am just like, me and Bill were sitting by the pool. after having been at the, just kind of, I guess it was, our trip was almost over and we were just sitting there. And I almost feel bad saying this, but I was actually crying. Like, Bill, can you imagine? I can't believe we're here. Like, I don't feel deserved. Like, we got this free trip here and we got to see the company, the integrity of the company. Everybody was just smiling, and you just kind of saw the company as a whole. Like, wow. I sometimes don't even know. I'm sure Marge can share more because she's been there too, but just amazing people that want the best for us, and it's not all about them, but they want what's best for us. Customer service is incredible. You call there, you actually talk to a person, you don't talk to a voicemail, whatever. So the company is amazing. So I guess when I first started, I did order retail because I was kind of scared of the wholesale price. I don't know why. But now, when I first joined the company, I said, okay, when I first told my upline that I wanted to just have the best price and try and stick this out for a little bit longer, I was just saying, I'm getting the wholesale price, but that's it. I'm not selling anything. Nothing. Just like I heard of all these, different marketing, and I didn't want to be one of those people. And if you have a story to share, like I can't keep quiet. Like, people do see a difference in me. And so whatever your goal is with these products, if it is just getting healthier, if it is getting your products paid for, getting your car payment paid, grocery bill. We use a lot of groceries. We have, I guess, family of 7, and we have a couple teenage boys that eat every 2 hours. So I just want to seriously tell you guys, this is incredible. We don't need to sell. We just share. I share my story, and I don't need to convince anybody that the products work, because they do. It's just the business opportunity is incredible. From me being in the bed to me sharing my story and making an income is like life-changing, honestly. So that's a little bit what I have to share. I think Marge has more that she wants to share. So Marge, if you want to dive in here.
That's so awesome. Like, I honestly think I could hear Lynn tell her story like 500 times over, and it would still be like, when you know the person from before to after, sometimes when we're working together, when we're talking, I'm just like, who is this person? Like, this is not who she used to be. And I know people say that about me too, right? And that is like, it literally makes you cry. It does, because changing lives and getting someone from just barely surviving to thriving is an honor to me that I struggle finding words for it, because it's so incredible. I've worked as a mom. I worked for 17 years, so for the better part of the time, and my internet connection is unstable. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not breaking up. Is it good now?
You're breaking up a little bit before, but let's see again.
We don't have the best internet. So yeah, I was a working mom. We had been married for almost 10 years. My husband was in the logging and always gone. I had one thing in my mind, and that was my children needed a father at home. So we decided to walk out of the logging industry, and he took a job in town. And our kids were, what were they then? 10 and 7 and like just a few months. Our baby was just a few months. And we decided to make like a major life change. I'd been working for a few years then already. We would both go to work, but then rather both be home, right? So we did that, and we scratched pennies together, and we budgeted and did Dave Ramsey courses, and it was hard, and that part all would have been doable had we been healthy. Health is truly something that will just be whether you make it or you break it, and it's funny how even when in the throes of our health issues, and I'm going to go into detail with that a little bit, I still laid awake at night wondering, how are we going to pay our bills? Instead of worrying about, are we going to live by the time we're 50? You know, like, and it's funny, it's because we're a money-driven society. We have mortgages, we have car payments, we have bills to pay. Our house has to be warm during the winter. Kids need shoes, kids need, you know, like Lynn said, those grocery bills when your kids are growing up, yeah, that's pretty big, and you want good food, right? So all of those things kind of accumulated, and I did just over 10 years at Canada Post. Very, very physically straining job, but it offered decent pay for the amount of time that I was gone, and it worked for our family. So my health issues just accumulated. And for John, my husband, he had double bronchial pneumonia the last summer before he was still, like when he was still in the logging industry, and he just about died from it. It was in the dead of summer. I was 8 months pregnant, and he was working on a very hot machine, and it was very hot outside, and he got off and got into his air-conditioned truck and drank cold water. And he just about shocked his system, right? And he got massive, massive pneumonia. So for the next 3 months, he was literally fighting to breathe. And we had a newborn over this time. So by fall, he went back to work, and he was so incredibly exhausted because the body is driven by oxygen. His lungs were so scarred. So from there started a journey of so much, you know, prednisone inhalers and nebulizers and medications and antibiotics and whatnot all, because you got to breathe. You can't live without breathing. So here we were, you know, fighting with that. Our son had always had issues with gut issues, and pretty much since birth, a lot of asthma issues since birth. And we were always working and dealing with that. So fast forward to October 2013, I had left Canada Post. I had done a few years in an office admin position, and John was still working in a shop in town, which was extremely toxic for him because there were so many chemical sensitivities that he was dealing with. And we were desperately looking for a different opportunity. We were praying for two things, and those two things were our prayers for years. Can we do something about our health naturally? How can we heal our bodies? So me and Lynn are related, and we come from a family. Our grandmother had a history of so many natural remedies. She grew her plants. She made this tincture. She used this. She brewed that. And her children would say, Mom, what are you making now? You know, and they were gearing towards getting into the medical society because, oh, the doctors knew more. And technically, she was the one that had that knowledge. She had that knowledge to give the body the nutrition that it needed, you know? And so many of those things we've lost, which I truly very much regret. So here, all of a sudden, Eva, who is also my family from a different side of the family, I'd known her for quite a few years already, and we were talking on Facebook, and she said, hey, have you seen that I'm sharing about Plexus? And I said, yeah, you are. I didn't care. It was a weight loss thing. And I was like, I don't need it, you know, good for you. And I just kind of left the conversation. It didn't matter to me. Good for her. Honestly, I felt good for her. And, you know, we talked again, and it came up again. And she's like, March, come on. You're smart. Look, like I share about gut health. I know you guys need this. And she challenged me and said, seriously, do your own research. You do enough of your own things that I know that you'll get this. Guys, I was up reading all night. I was an insomniac. I had severe candida issues. I had IBS for quite a few years, so it was always either I didn't go to the bathroom for 10 days or I went for 10 days straight. You know, so many gut issues, so many food sensitivities. It was either fight or flight, which is your adrenals just, you know, not working properly. So many things that were pushing me to the edge. So at the point in October, my oldest daughter was married. Oldest two kids had just been diagnosed that February of 2013 with celiacs. So we had done a lot of diet changes in our life. We had done a lot of learning on gut health, got some training from the medical society for that, which was awesome. All that just accumulated to preparing ourselves for walking into Plexus. And I remember getting up that morning before I ordered, and I said to John, you wouldn't believe what I learned last night. And I was just about bursting at the seams. And he's like, why are you not sleeping? Because I said, I can't. You know, I know all this stuff now. Who's going to sleep? So I ended up ordering that night. And I said to him, I'm going to be the guinea pig. I don't care. I'm going to try, right? Got my bag of pink drink, and that's all I allowed myself was a bag of pink drink. We were budgeting, right? Not even 2 weeks later, I don't even really remember taking those first 2 weeks of pink drink. My brain fog was so bad. My work responsibilities were pretty big. I was dealing with insurance and a lot of detailed work, and I would just sit there and force myself to think, come on, Marge, you know how to do this. Like, let's just, because my brain process was so slow. I was so fogged in my candida levels. I woke up one morning and it was like a shock to my system because I hadn't heard the furnace cut in. I hadn't heard the fridge. I hadn't heard my kids get up downstairs to use the bathroom. I'd actually slept, and be it only for a few hours, but I had like a deeper level of sleep than what I'd had for years. And I was, this new feeling of actually having slept, and I woke up and I was like, oh my goodness, what happened? And John just thought I was nuts those first few weeks because, you're so used to being in your low and forcing yourself to go that all of a sudden these things are happening that you never expected, right? And I remember holding up that pink drink that morning, mixing my drink, and I said to him, if I have to pay $200 a month to sleep, I'm going to do it, because sleep was such a huge thing to me at the time. And it is. Your body requires sleep to heal itself, right? So long story short, we had some shipping issues in November, and I actually got like a totally empty Plexus bag. They had confiscated my products at the border. I cried. And my daughter Sheila will tell you about this. She came over and she was like, what's wrong? I said, they took my Plexus. And I was so desperate to get started with more, right? Because I knew what was happening. So I signed up December 31st of 2013, and I sat there and I remember thinking, I cannot do this temporarily. If I'm doing this, I'm going to take the full responsibility. I'm going to give my body a year. I have to not look at anything that I'm doing besides the fact that I have to be consistent. I have to work with my diet, and I have to drink my water. I'm going to give myself a year. And I tell you, ladies, that first summer, like by the time we were planting our garden, but I was still working full time. My daughter was pregnant. I was helping her. We had so many things going on, and I just worked. And like Lynn said, dawn till 11 midnight later. People see that. When you've gone from barely doing what you can force yourself to do to all of a sudden doing a whole load more, people see that. They'll notice what's going on in your life. And people started asking me, what are you doing? Like, you actually do look better. And I'm like, yeah, I must have looked pretty awful before. I was anemic for years and years, right? Went in for B12 shots, went in for iron shots. So that time of the month came, it felt like I had just gained a little bit of iron and whoosh, all out it went, right? So naturally, I started sharing. I had my list of people that, oh my goodness, guess what I could tell them? Like, look what it's doing for me. What can it do for you, right? And that's how, like Lynn said, we just kind of use our stories and know that we have such full belief behind our products. At this point, we're 3.5 years in. My husband has been, since March of 2017, 2 years, completely medication-free. Not one inhaler, not one nebulizer, not one nothing. And I tell you guys, we had a nebulizer in every room of the house, in the holiday trailer, in every vehicle, in the car garage, outside in the sheds. We had nebulizers everywhere because he was so dependent on them. To have him breathe normally and not be forever coughing, and the energy that he has now, he has seriously, gained 20 years. He's in better health now than what he was at 20 years old. And that is just such a comfort to know that your provider is well. Like, that to me is huge. That was almost above my own health. My oldest 2 kids have made leaps and bounds of progress with dealing with their celiac disease. That is a very long-term thing, and it's incredibly degrading. They still will always probably have reactions because they're missing those enzymes. There is so much progress to be had, though. We've come so far. I myself, I thought at a year that I'd come very far. At 2 years, I could see I'd come even further. People ask me like, well, do I have to be on this for life? And I'm like, no, no one has to be on anything for life, right? You can always choose the supplementation you want. You can choose your diet that you want. You can choose whatever you want. But I found, my internet is having issues again. I found that when I could understand proper supplementation and dealing with root issues and how we can get our body to heal itself in the way that it's designed to be, to me, that's ultimate life. To me, that's just as important as buying good whole food. To me, that's just as important as having, proper exercise and taking care of your body. That is, to me, very, very important. So I myself, I'm going to be a lifer. I know that. So let's go a little bit into why did I start sharing. I told Eva when I signed up, don't tell me about the business. I don't want to know about it. I'm very busy. And I was, volunteering at different places for my kids' events. I was working full time, had a household, had gardens. We're big outdoor people. We do a lot of camping. It felt like I was always running. I don't need another business. I was already a working mom is what I was thinking. Well, when you naturally have your life change and you start sharing, all of a sudden I realized there's possibility here, right? So I wasn't even working towards silver. I just was kind of bent on, hey, let's get some people on the product. So I signed up my third person, and Eva messaged me and said, did you realize that you just went silver? And I said, what's silver? I was not paying attention. And she said, like, after I joined, I pretty much dropped off the map because I was so thrilled with feeling so much better. And I knew there were so many people to help that I didn't even look at the plexus business. So that kind of ignited a little bit of a spark when I went silver. And it kind of sat in the back of my mind. And I thought, that's cool, my next goal was, how about let's just get like our whole family on the products and get them paid for, because that way we can get healthy for free, right? And that's, I think, a huge part that you can take for yourself in your journey as well, that your goals can be exactly suited to what you are in need of at this point in your journey. So it was fall and I went back to work, and our diamonds were offering a 6-week intense weekly training course for those that wanted to grow their business. And I thought, that's, pretty intense, because I was working but I committed, and I'm a little bit of a diehard when it comes to things like that. I won't cop out then. And I'm probably going to be very challenged by others that do better. So I'm going to have to fight to keep up. So I knew that. Guys, I was up late at night contacting people, sharing testimonies, following up with people. And by May of 2015, I quit my job. I came home as a senior gold ambassador. I had worked for 17 years. I felt like a fish out of water. I did not know what to do. Like the first month, I wandered aimlessly around my house and I didn't know what to do. No one was telling me where to be and what to do or how much time I had to do it, right? So I really started understanding I need a schedule and I need to see the potential for this business, because here I had this group of people and we were all excited product users, but look at this business. Like, honestly, I just replaced my income in a matter of a few months. Like, how easy was that, So I really started looking bigger and started seeing that there's so much more opportunity. Over this time, Eva and Andrew were growing immensely. So it was very encouraging to have them as well. And slowly we started building our team, and I started seeing there's more to this. We can have this opportunity as a family business. We can work together. So my goal became, let's help as many people as we can. But with that comes the time freedom that we also can be claiming the time for ourselves. I feel like me and John, we've worked so many years and always, worked around work schedules like so many families do. And I'm so excited to see that the freedom that I now have in my time of allowing me when to work, when I want to work, that can be applied to him as well. And we can do this together and work on our own schedules. So that is our next goal, and we're very excited to have that happen soon. There's a few things that I want you guys to, not really what that I want you to. I want you to know that there's not just the whole responsibility on you, right? There's so much to this business, like Diane talked about being one plexus, that if you think about going silver, well, there's your 3 people, right? So you would start small, start where your goals are. Think about 3 people that could use the products or the business opportunity. It's that simple. And I always say there's 2 things that people will lose sleep over, and it's their health and their finances. And we can offer both. I've seen so many people have both answered, that I will never share product only because the business is just as good or better, right? So there's a couple things that I want you to think of. Think about the 3 people that you can find to bless this with, right? And then I'm very adamant on Plexus is about long-term health. It's not just a quick, I'll join, check it out, I don't want to do this, done, right? Plexus is very much long-term health. Now, what if me and Lynn had not stuck it out, right? What if Lynn had quit 3 months in and said, doesn't do anything for me? She would still be sick. Her family would still not have the mom that they have now, right? I, for myself, at 3 years in, like, we're expecting number 2 grandchild. I honestly think that I'm feeling better now and am more capable of helping my family than what I did at 30, you know? There's so many benefits to being strong and healthy and having the finances to back you up. You're able to bless others so much more. So a few things that I'm very adamant about is long-term health. Coach your people that this is something, they don't have to commit to a year. Honestly, they don't, but I did. Right? Show them what your investment is, and that's what Plexus is. It's long-term nutrition. And then the welcome packs. The welcome packs are the ultimate way to come into the company because it's a combination of products that is so discounted. When you think of $99 for a triplex combo, yes, that's American prices. I already have a lot of American people. Excuse me. When you take the ingredients individually of what's in the Slim, what's in the BioCleanse, and what's in the probiotic, guys, we'd be paying over $300 for that. So I find it a steal of a deal. And I always say it's only, you know, it's not about, oh, it's $124.95 US. Yeah, I know that's quite a bit. No. It's only because I know buying these things individually would be so much more expensive and without the results, right? Because we have the patented blend. And then the other thing is the convenience order. That's a huge factor for success. Number 1, you want the person on a triplex combo at least, because that's where you're dealing with your gut health, your blood sugar balance, and your inflammation. Those are your main root issues, right? You want that person to start dealing with those root issues. So minimum amount of what a person should be using, and yes, people do come on board with less, but my suggestion is always a minimum amount of at least a triplex per month, so that their convenience order is on. That is their guaranteed success. Now, what if we, you know, these people come in, they get a welcome pack, next month they say, I don't have money to order, I don't want to order. You know what? They use that one package of triplex, and then they might skip 3 months. Oh, maybe I should get back on the pink drink. Then I'll just get the pink drink. And then, well, guess what? They're not going to have results. They don't have the consistency. Their body is constantly ricocheting back and forth because once you have the nutrition, once you don't, right? You're starting detox and then you're not. So your body is constantly being pulled back and forth, right? So you want the person to understand that the consistency and the results go hand in hand. Those are 2 huge things. Another thing that I often ask is if they're not quite sure of what they're committing to, then I ask them, can I ask you to trust me? I have thousands of stories. I have hundreds of people that I can tell you about. Can I ask you to trust me? I will help you. I will coach you. And I promise you results will come because our products work for the masses, right? We have a less than a 1% return rate. Those are all things that you can tell them that are factors that reassure them, right? And then they can go into the journey using your belief. So that way they don't take the accountability on themselves, but they're like, okay, Sandra said it'll take like 3 to 6 months before I start seeing big things happening. It's okay. I'm going to keep on, right? So they feel reassured that way, and they feel supported. So that's basically what I've rambled on for a long time. That's basically what I was going to talk about, but I want to give you guys an opportunity to ask some questions as well if you guys want to. Just unmute yourself when you're asking, and then we can have less feedback. Anything you've thought of, anything that you're wondering about, or anything. And if not, that's fine too. We can get them another time.
Marge, do you have handy just a little rundown for those that are maybe brand new to see kind of what it, or to explain what it means to even go silver? Like you referred to that, but what exactly does that look like for someone new coming in?
Very good question. I should have covered that a little bit more. So let's look a little bit about the power of 3 is what we call it. Going silver is the very first rank in Plexus, and all it takes is adding 3 people as an ambassador, just like they joined as an ambassador. These 3 people come in with a welcome pack and their convenience order on, right? And those 3 people will give you the business building bonuses of each welcome pack, which can be $25 or $50 each. And then also the $100 bonus for going silver. So Plexus pays out bonuses for each rank up until Emerald. And those bonuses grow as you grow. So if you're looking at, when we talk about the power of 3, so you join, you add 3 people. And then those people are thinking, how can I get my products paid for? How can I start growing my team? How can I, whatever their goal is. Maybe their goal is, $500 extra for groceries that month. Maybe their goal is, let's pay the mortgage payment, whatever it is, right? Whatever they're working towards, free product, whatever it is. Then you can tell them, you have the same opportunity. You go find 3 people that also need and want what we have and pass it on. So when you're thinking of going gold and you need 20 people, that sounds like a lot, but it's not, because if we have those 3, add 3, then we're already at so many more, right? I was just going to mention another thing. What did I lost my train of thought there? The benefit of that is it's not who you know. Is my connection unstable again? Okay, good. It's not just who you know. It's not like you have to know all these people and to go find all these people, but it's the person that you're adding. It's about who they know, right? So you're always bringing in more people. So let's say Diane brought in Sandra. Diane doesn't know the same people that Sandra knows. So Sandra knows more people, right? So it always is individually marketed to each person and to their need. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it makes sense to me now because I'm a little more familiar with it already too. But yeah, I think that explains it.
We basically say if they're wanting to work towards getting their products paid for, to starting their business, then find 3 people who want to join you. Keep it simple, keep it easy, and then do the same thing with them as they're growing as well. Anything you want to add to that, Lynn?
I don't.
Any other questions? If not, then we will sign off, and I will get this on my computer, and then I'll share it in the chat once it's uploaded, okay? Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thanks for doing this, Lynn and Marge. Great to have you guys share your stories and just kind of take this on. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
You're welcome.
Have a good night, guys.
See ya.
Bye. See ya.